I had pressed the pale blue dress the night before, careful with the collar, that my late husband once said brought out my eyes. It wasn't extravagant, just linen soft from years of washing, but it felt right for the day my daughter would marry. I pinned on the small pearl brooch that used to be my mother's, checked my reflection one last time, and told myself I was ready. The road to the Thornfield vineyard curved through morning mist, lined with oaks that looked older than the city itself. The air smelled of soil and rain. I had driven those miles so many times during the past year, meeting planners, paying deposits, signing checks with my neat principal's handwriting. I never imagined I would need an invitation to a day I had already built. At the gate, a young man in a dark uniform stepped forward and asked for my name. His earpiece glinted. I gave it. He hesitated, spoke quietly into his radio, then said he was sorry. "The guest list is full, ma'am." The bride asked that no one be added. I thought he must be mistaken. Then I saw her. Livia came down the gravel path in her gown, white satin, catching the light. Her veil was pinned just so every line of her face, flawless in its calm. She looked like she had stepped out of a magazine spread, everything I had once wanted her to have. "Mom," she said, her voice thin but deliberate. "We need to talk before you come in." "All right, darling." I smiled, though something sharp twisted inside me. She looked around, making sure no one could hear. "You're not invited. You're not family anymore." The words didn't echo. They just sank. For a long moment, I could hear only the wind brushing against the vines. I thought of the 300 invitations I had paid to print of the seamstress's bill of the deposits that had cleared from my account. None of that mattered now. "I see," I said finally. My voice was steady, almost gentle. "That's all right, sweetheart." Her shoulders loosened, relief flickering in her eyes. I turned to leave, then glanced back. "But before you walk down that aisle," I said quietly, "don't forget to check your phone." Then I walked away, the gravel shifting beneath my heels, like a memory that no longer belonged to me. The night before the wedding, I set up the ironing board in the kitchen. The house was quiet, except for the faint hum of the old refrigerator and the ticking of the wall clock. I laid the pale blue dress across the board and smoothed its sleeves, pressing slowly, careful not to scorch the fabric. Livia had once touched the same dress and said, "It makes you look graceful, Mom." She was 17 then, preparing for a school recital, and I had stayed up all night sewing the hem of her gown. She called me her lucky charm. Now the word felt like a bruise. My phone sat beside the iron, the screen lighting up with the same unanswered thread of messages. "Sweetheart, do you need me to bring the seating list? Did the caterer confirm the menu? Should I wear something neutral or blue?" Each one marked, red. None replied. A soft knock came at the door. I turned off the iron and opened it to find Mrs. Colleen, my next-door neighbor, holding a cup of chamomile tea. Her robe smelled faintly of lavender. "I saw your light on," she said. Still up, I couldn't sleep. She never called back. I shook my head. Colleen sat at the small table studying me with those kind, intrusive eyes only old friends have. "Evadne, if she hasn't invited you, maybe it's best not to go. Let her have her day. It's her day," I said quietly, folding the dress. "But it's my daughter. You've done enough for that girl. There's no such thing as enough for your own child." Colleen sighed. "You still believe that I do." I said, though. My voice wavered. "A mother shows up, even when she isn't asked to." Colleen reached for my hand. "Just protect your heart, dear." I promised I would, though I knew I couldn't. After she left, I hung the dress near the window. Moonlight touched its fabric like breath. I sat down, phone still in hand, and waited for a message that never came. By dawn, the iron had cooled, the tea had gone cold, and my decision was set. I would go, invitation or not. I didn't move when she said the words. The breeze lifted her veil, brushing against my cheek like something already gone. "Not family anymore," I repeated, my voice quiet. "That's a strange thing to tell your mother." Mom, please don't make this harder than it already is. Livia's hands trembled, clutching the bouquet. You know I love you. But this day, it's not about us. It's your wedding, I said. You made that clear. She looked toward the parking lot where luxury cars glinted in the sun. It's about the image. Evan's parents have built a reputation here. The Thornfields are real estate developers, and everyone who matters in Charlottesville is inside that hall. I can't afford for anything to seem out of place. Out of place. I let the words fall flat. You mean me? Her throat tightened. You don't understand how this world works. I understand more than you think. Mom, you spent your life teaching in public schools, living simply. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not. She stopped herself, glancing around, lowering her voice. It's not the level I need to project now. The level you need, I said softly. That's an expensive phrase. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. I stepped closer, lowering my voice to match hers. You want their approval. So you traded your name for theirs, but tell me something, Livia. My money does. It fit their image. Her eyes dropped to the ground. A faint flush rose on her cheeks. That's different, she whispered. Is it? Please, she said. Don't ruin this. You've always taught me to be strong. I'm doing what's necessary. Necessary? I nodded slowly. I suppose being your mother isn't. She looked up, panic flickering behind her eyes. Mom, I'll call you after the honeymoon. We can talk then. No, darling, I said, calm as ever. You'll be too busy keeping your new image polished. Her lips parted, but no words came. I turned from her each step, deliberate, the gravel crunching beneath my shoes. Behind me, the music began to play. 2 weeks before the wedding, I came by the house to drop off the final invoice for the florist. Livia wasn't expecting me. I heard her voice before I even reached the door. She still writes checks, she said, laughing softly. And she counts coins at the register like it's 1980, Evan. I swear my mother's heart is big, but her sense of style is straight out of a school teacher's pension plan. I froze. Through the half-open window, I could hear Evan's low chuckle. Don't worry, babe. Once we're married, we'll handle things our way. Livia laughed again, nervous, shallow. She means well. It's just, she doesn't fit in. Something inside me went still. I stepped back from the window and left the envelope by the door without knocking. That evening, I called Rowan Tilley, the attorney who had handled my husband's estate for over 20 years. His voice was calm as always. Evadne, what can I do for you? I need to amend my will, I said. Completely. He hesitated. Completely. Yes. The funds meant for Livia will go elsewhere. I'd like to set up a scholarship at the university, something for single mothers finishing degrees. All right, he said slowly. And the assets tied to your daughter's name, remove them. The co-signed loan for her condo, the secondary card on my account, cancel everything. Effective immediately. That might cause tension, he warned. It already exists, I said. This just makes it honest. We met the next morning. Rowan signed the documents with quiet efficiency. When he handed me the copies, he said, You're sure about this? I'm not punishing her, I said. I'm protecting what's left of us both. Afterward, I drove straight to the bank. The manager, a young man named Michael, looked startled when I requested to freeze all pending wedding transfers. Ma'am, that's quite a large sum, close to $80,000. I know exactly how large, I said. Please note that authorization is revoked. He nodded carefully, tapping at his keyboard. Done. By the time I walked out, the afternoon light had turned sharp and golden. I felt neither anger nor relief, only precision. The kind my late husband once said comes when you finally stop waiting to be loved for free. I hadn't walked far from the gate when I heard the first sound, her phone vibrating in quick bursts, one after another. I didn't turn around. I just listened. Mom! Wait! Livia called out, her voice rising brittle under the lace. I kept walking until she caught up, breathless. Something's wrong with my account, she said. The florist just texted. They said the final payment didn't clear. Oh, I said quietly. Her hands shook as she opened the screen. And the venue, look. She turned the phone toward me. I could see the messages flashing across the screen like sirens. Transaction declined. Authorization revoked. She looked at me, eyes wide. Did you, Mom, please tell me this is a mistake? I don't believe in mistakes, I said. Only decisions. Evan came running from the gate, tuxedo half-buttoned. What's going on? The coordinator says the deposit vanished. It didn't vanish, I said. It was mine. It simply went back where it belonged. He frowned, looking between us. You paid for everything. For most of it, I said. The venue, the catering, even the invitations with your initials embossed in gold. Livia's face went pale. Why would you cancel now? People are already inside. Because I said I finally understood that a mother who isn't good enough to attend shouldn't be good enough to fund. Evan stared at her. You told me your family was helping. They were, she said quickly. I just didn't know she'd withdraw, I finished. Yes, I withdrew. Her phone buzzed again. Bank alert, co-signed loan account suspended. She gasped. Mom, my condo. Will stand on its own now, I said. As it should. Evan took a step back. Confusion settling into anger. This is insane. No, I said softly. This is accountability. Behind us, murmurs began to ripple from the open doors of the hall. Guests were checking their watches. The coordinator's voice echoed faintly, asking for a card to process the remaining balance. Livia's bouquet slipped from her hands and hit the gravel with a dull sound. I turned toward the parking lot. Enjoy your day, sweetheart, I said. Whatever kind of wedding it turns out to be. Then I left her standing there clutching a phone that wouldn't stop buzzing. I had almost reached my car when the shouts began. The kind of chaos that money can't smooth over. Who authorized these payments? A man's voice barked from the terrace. Why are we being told the balance is outstanding? That would be Mr. Thornfield Evans' father. His tone was polished steel. I didn't turn back, but I could hear Livia trying to explain. It's just a mistake, sir. The bank must have... The bank, he interrupted. We wired half the amount 2 weeks ago. Evan's voice cut through next. Half, Dad. I thought you said you covered everything. I said I approved everything, Mr. Thornfield snapped. Your fiancée assured us her mother handled the details. She did, Evan said slowly. Until 10 minutes ago. Chairs scraped, voices multiplied. The wedding coordinator's heels clicked against the floor. We can't proceed without confirmation, she said firmly. Our policy is clear. No payment, no event. Livia's voice broke. Please, my mother will fix this. I doubt that Mr. Thornfield said. She's the one who pulled the money, isn't she? Silence spread like smoke. Evan's tone turned sharp. You told me she was helping your family, not paying for mine. I didn't lie. Livia whispered. You let me believe you came from the same level, he said. You let my parents think this wedding was between equals. Her voice shrank. I just wanted to belong. And now he said, You've humiliated us all. The coordinator's radio crackled. Sir, security is asking if we should start clearing the hall. Mr. Thornfield swore under his breath. Do it. This farce is over. I heard footsteps. Then Evan's quick, heavy ones. He appeared behind me, breath uneven. Mrs. Pierce, he said, struggling for calm, is this what you wanted? I looked at him. No, Evan. I wanted honesty. But since that was never part of the guest list, I settled for truth. He said nothing, only lowered his gaze. Behind him, Livia's voice trembled, begging him to stay. He didn't. He walked back toward the building, the sound of applause replaced by murmurs and the rustle of people leaving before the first dance ever began. She found me near the parking lot, barefoot veil hanging from one hand like a flag surrendered. Her makeup had streaked and her voice came out raw. "Why would you do this to me?" she cried. "Why would you ruin everything?" "I didn't ruin anything," I said quietly. "I simply stopped paying for the lie. You humiliated me in front of everyone, Evan's family, his father." "They humiliated themselves," I said. "All I did was tell the truth." She stepped closer, trembling. "You didn't have to pull everything. The apartment, the cards, Mom, that was cruel. I called it balance," I said. "You built your life on borrowed kindness. It was time to return it." Her breath hitched. "I'm your daughter." "Yes," I said, my voice breaking on the word, "and that's exactly why I had to do it." Tears ran freely down her face. "You don't understand. I was trying to have a future. Evan's world, it was safe, it was secure. I just wanted to fit in by erasing where you came from." She covered her face. "You could have just talked to me." "I tried," I said. "You stopped listening when the money started speaking louder." Her shoulders shook. "So what now?" "You take everything. The trust too." "Yes," I said. "Your father left a small trust in your name, about $40,000. It's now going to a scholarship fund for single mothers finishing their degrees." She looked up sharply. "You can't." "I already did. It's legal. Mr. Tilley finalized it last week." Her anger flickered, then collapsed into exhaustion. "So that's it. You're just done." "No," I said, stepping forward. "I'm just done protecting you from consequence." She stared at me, lips parted, as if searching for the girl she used to be in my eyes. Then she dropped the veil onto the gravel and whispered, "I don't even know who I am anymore." I reached out, brushing a tear from her cheek. "Then maybe this is the first day you start finding out." By the next morning, my phone had stopped ringing, but the noise hadn't. It just moved to other places. Screens, whispers, the mouths of people who loved a scandal more than truth. "The mother who canceled her daughter's wedding." That was the headline someone sent me. I didn't open the article. I didn't need to. Neighbors avoided eye contact for a few days, pretending to prune hedges or carry mail when I walked past. Others, bolder, left messages that began with sympathy and ended with quiet judgment. "You could have handled it differently," Evadne one said over the fence. "People are saying, well, it's gone a bit far." "It always goes a bit far," I replied. Then I turned back to the soil. Inside the house, my voicemail blinked red. One was from Mrs. Thornfield. Her voice strained but polite. "I can't condone what happened," she said, "but you certainly made a point." I deleted it. The last message was from Livia. It was short, almost whispered. "I just wanted you to know I'm staying with a friend. Please don't worry." Then silence. I stood in the kitchen for a long time, listening to the hum of the refrigerator. The same sound had filled this room when my husband Robert was alive, steady, unbothered, impossible to silence. Outside, the roses were in bloom. They were his project, not mine, though I'd kept them alive since he passed. I took the pruning shears and went out trimming the stems one by one. The air smelled of damp earth and old memories. "You'd have done the same," I murmured, laying the cut branches in a basket. "You'd have told her love without respect isn't love at all." A soft breeze moved through the garden. Somewhere behind the hedge, I heard someone mention my name, half pity, half awe. I let them talk. The roses didn't care, and neither did I. It was early February when the phone rang. Rain pressed against the windows, steady and cold, the kind that seeps into the joints if you let it. I almost didn't answer. The number was unfamiliar. Mom. Her voice was thin, stripped of the sharpness it used to carry. "Livia." I said her name quietly, not sure how it would sound after all those months. "I didn't know if you'd pick up." I almost didn't. There was a pause, the kind that fills with all the words people are afraid to say. "I wanted to tell you," she began, "Evan and I were not together anymore." "I see. It happened fast. After the wedding, well, The non-wedding, his family blamed me for everything. The business ties they promised him dried up. We started arguing. He moved out in September. I let her speak. The rain tapped harder against the glass. I'm working part-time now, she continued. A marketing office downtown. It's nothing big, but it's mine. I'm paying my rent with my own money, no one else's. That's something I said. I just wanted you to know I'm trying. Her breath caught. I think about what you said. About consequence. You had to find it yourself, I said. No one could hand it to you, she hesitated. Would you meet me? Maybe for coffee? I took a slow breath. When you're ready to talk, I said not to ask. I understand. Her voice cracked barely above a whisper. I'll text you the address. It's small, but it's home. After we hung up, I stood for a long moment, staring at the rain sliding down the window pane. The house felt quiet, but not empty. Just paused, waiting. A few minutes later, the phone buzzed again. A text. An address on Cherry Avenue, apartment 12. No demands. No apologies written in haste. Just a location, and underneath it 3 words that felt heavier than any gift. If you're ready. The evening she came back, the light was still on. I had replaced the old porch bulb with a new brass lamp the week before, engraved on its base, built by hands, kept by respect. It wasn't for decoration. It was a reminder. When I opened the door, Livia stood there holding a small paper bag. No makeup. No perfume. Just rain-damp hair and the faint scent of soap. Hi, Mom. Come in, I said. She stepped inside, glancing at the familiar hallway, as if walking through a memory she wasn't sure belonged to her anymore. I brought tea, she said. Chamomile. The kind you used to make when I couldn't sleep. That's kind of you. We sat at the kitchen table. The same chairs, the same creak in the floorboard beneath mine. She poured the tea with careful hands. I wanted to say, I'm sorry, she said finally, for everything, for the way I spoke to you, the things I let them say. I thought I was chasing stability, but I was just running from myself. I listened, letting her finish. I know you don't owe me forgiveness, she continued, but I hope one day you'll believe I'm not that person anymore. You don't have to prove that to me, I said softly. Just live like it's true. She nodded, tears gathering, but not falling. Do you think we can start over? Not from the beginning, I said, but from where we are. She reached across the table, hesitant at first, then placed her hand over mine. Her fingers were cold but steady. Outside, the new lamp flickered once, then steadied, casting a warm circle of light across the porch. When she left later that night, she paused by the door. It's beautiful, she said, looking up at the engraving. It's meant to stay on, I told her. She smiled, the small, honest kind I hadn't seen in years, and walked down the steps, her shadow stretching long beneath the glow.